in advance of the meeting. I think this is going to make this a relatively short meeting. From the city standpoint, we're agreeable to the 2% across the board increase for the current fiscal year, October 1 of 2020 through September 30 of 2021. And I think we could probably leave here today with a tentative agreement on that. I all saw that your proposal had economics that went beyond this fiscal year. I think that as far as future years is premature for a couple reasons. One is it's just early in the cycle to determine, what can and cannot be paid. But certainly see nothing wrong with, putting what you just put on the table for our next negotiations, which we can start earlier than we started this year for sure. That's something that we can start with at that point, and that'll give us a jump up on the next contract. A couple of legal reasons why I don't think we can negotiate beyond this fiscal year's. Number one, this is just an economic reopener for this fiscal year and nothing else. And if we do something for future years that might be construed as an extension of the current contract, I think that's prohibited by law, that we can't have more than a 3-year agreement under Florida law. Also, if we agreed to extension, I don't think we can. We have a full book next negotiations, which means everybody wouldn't be able to negotiate on anything else if we lock it up this year. So I think we're good as far as this current fiscal year to have a tentative agreement, and then what I propose we do is next summer, whenever you want to start bargaining, we have the rest of your offer be your proposal for the next contract.
Well, Eric, it was our understanding from the get-go from last year, or when they signed the contract, is that the reopener would be for the purpose of getting the Evergreen study back and trying to implement a step plan. That was the promise the city made, and that's what we were basing it on. We understand with some of the things going on, including COVID, that this year might not be the best year for the step plan, but going forward, we did not want to miss the opportunity to go ahead and get this started and implemented.
Well, you're not going to miss the opportunity, because you have the opportunity before October 1 of 2021 to negotiate, a step plan. We tried a step plan as our proposal here, but I think maybe the understanding is we're a year too early. But but we really legally can't negotiate on what happens after this fiscal year, because we're in a 3-year contract. That's the maximum length of a contract we can have, and there's the full book is open next time around. And even if we had reached an impasse, the city council can impose only for the first fiscal year, for this fiscal year anyway. So, I mean, we're not going to accomplish anything by not. We should get this behind us, and then you can calendar as early as you want to for when you want to start negotiations on the next contract.
Can we go to a caucus real quick? And
Sure.
Yeah, and can we do it off camera? Can we mute the camera? Or
well, you can stop the video. At least my function. There's a thing in the lower left-hand corner that says "Stop Video," and then you got the mute. So if you stop video and mute, you should be good to go.
All right, give us just a few minutes, please.
Okay.
Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. I'm testing for somebody on the phone, guys. Testing, testing. Testing.
Hey, we're back, guys. Thank you for your patience.
All right, no problem.
Okay, as you know, this has been going on for quite a while about this step plan thing, probably about 8 years now. And we've been patient. They've waded through 2 evergreen studies now. And I understand the last evergreen study was done specifically for trying to see where the city's at with regard to wages and benefits and step plans, I guess, and everything, correct? Is that what the purpose of this most current evergreen was?
Yeah, I don't know what the purpose, usually they're to do with compensation generally. I don't know whether they talk about step plans or not.
Okay. But anyway, long story short, that's what we were under the impression that we were meeting all together for, was strictly to work out a step plan, not, necessarily an across the board pay raise. It was strictly to work out a step plan, and that's what we want to do. That's what our understanding has been since we concluded and ratified the last contract.
Right, and we took that too, and that's why we proposed a step plan in our last meeting.
Right, but, we proposed another one, and now all of a sudden that's not acceptable. We're not.
Well, Steve, I don't know whether it's acceptable or not, but it's premature. I mean, your step plan doesn't start until October 1 of 2021, which is outside the current contract.
Well, we're just trying to give the city, we know it's going to cost money. We know the budget for this year is already in place. We're just getting the numbers in place so the city can prepare for what they would have to have in 2021.
Well, and I think that's great, and I think that you put this together this early, the earlier the better. And my team is willing to start meeting on the next contract as early as you want to. Because, we can, a lot of times negotiations start like in the spring and March but really the scope of these negotiations is limited to the current contract, current 3-year agreement, and are limited to the final year that, the economic piece of that for the final year. And what your proposal says for this current year is a 2% across the board. We're good with that to do this year, but are willing to jump in as soon as you want to on the next contract.
You have a copy of it?
No,
Okay.
I don't understand how ours goes beyond the scope when the one you presented went beyond the scope also.
No, ours was to start the step plan beginning October 1, 2020.
Right. We can change that real quick.
Well,
And that's something
we're
that,
prepared for ours to start this year.
well, obviously your proposal is for it to start next year. I think you'd have to recraft your proposal to start it this year.
Well, that'll
And
take
again, I
about
think-
5 minutes.
Well, I don't know. I was thinking this was going to be a short meeting because we were all in agreement what could happen this year. Now, again, we're willing to start negotiations over the next contract as soon as you want to. But let's get this one out of the way so that we can move on.
So it takes about 5 minutes to get those numbers put in.
Would you like a proposal starting this year? It'll
Well,
take me
I
5
tell
years.
you, you're free to propose whatever you want. And I think that what we had gotten from you was the one that started it next year. But you're free to propose whatever you want to counter what we put on the table last time. The only thing I gotta say is when we got your proposal, we saw that proposal for this fiscal year would be acceptable to us. So we really didn't drill down on the details of the what, I mean, I don't know that we have time once, if you could re-propose something now, whether we can digest it to give a counter today.
Well, basically, all I'm gonna do is change the date of the implementation, drop the 2020 would be actually 2021.
So 2021 be 2020.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
And you're
We just
talking about
dropped
without the 2%.
Yes,
Right, well,
the first-
we can take a look at that, and then get a response, but I don't think we're prepared, and I'll talk to my team, but I don't think we're prepared to respond right now just because we're coming into this thinking that we, you had an acceptable proposal for this fiscal year.
the way I proposed it, next year when the step plan was initiated, it'd be a 4.3% increase. If we try to do it this year, then it's a 6.3% increase. So we were trying to take what was already budgeted and give the city time to come up with the extra money.
I'm okay. In fact, I think what you proposed was a great idea to have them the city think about what your proposal is going forward. But it's just that we can't negotiate beyond this fiscal year in these negotiations. We can get this behind us and we can do it now. And then we can go forward and start bargaining over the next contract as soon as you want to.
Eric, regarding that, we can't negotiate past this year's stuff. Are you talking regarding Article 31 about the term and duration language?
Right. I mean, this is a 3-year contract. Florida law doesn't allow the parties to have more than a 3-year contract.
So by us implementing a step plan that may go beyond, is that what you're saying?
Right. I think we're limited because you can't have a 4 or 5 year agreement.
I understand that part, but yeah, we've done step raises in other places, step plans that go out for, sometimes 16 to 18 years, 20 years, or whatever.
I mean, the step plan can go beyond the termination of the contract, but it can't start after termination of the contract if it's a 3-year contract. I mean, you could propose a step plan for this year if you want that goes on for how many steps you've got. But it's not, but what your proposal was, 2% across the board for this fiscal year, and then you were wanting to first implement a step plan after this contract has expired, which I don't think we can negotiate a continuation of this contract because it's at the maximum duration. Now, if you want to change your proposal and give us a proposal for a step plan starting this fiscal year, we'll take a look at it and cost it out and all that sort of thing. But that's not what you provided for us, and that's not what we're prepared for. If you want to do that, you're free to do that.
Okay, I think it was just a little confusing on probably our part with what we agreed to at the end of the negotiations about the 3-year plan. The whole purpose was to come back upon completion of Evergreen. Evergreen didn't get complete till mid-year of this year. Is that right?
Yeah.
And due to COVID and all that, people weren't meeting and all that, so it made it a little difficult on us. But we've done that, and we did this all in good faith that that's what we were supposed to be doing. To get this step plan started. That was
right. And like I say, we had the same understanding, and our first proposal was a step plan. Now here,
right.
you got really 2 options as I see it. One is to just let's sign off on this fiscal year, 2% across the board, and start negotiations at your earliest convenience. Or you can come back and give us a different proposal for this fiscal year.
One question, just for clarification. Our current proposal, if the date was changed to 9/30 of, 2021 as opposed to 2021. Would that make a difference?
It might make a difference legally, we'd still have to, but it would not be that much difference in proposing the step plan at any time in this fiscal year, that we'd have to drill down on the specifics of it and then come back with a counter.
Well, that may be something that the 2% now, and then, begin that, we'll be in the process of negotiating the, step plan. Or would that go against what you were speaking of?
Well, what you're talking about, having the step plan start somewhere during the current fiscal year.
Right, since we're after October 1st, you're right.
Right, so it would it would, that you can do that, but then we'd still have to be negotiating over a whole new contract next year, and we'd have to figure out what the cost impact is of the step plan you sent us before today's meeting.
Right, and I'm sure that there's very little that we would probably want to change in the current contract, except for the step plan being the most important thing.
Well, there is a few things. The step plan, as we've got it set up, takes away the incentives for education. That was something we were going to have to renegotiate next year. It also takes away the stipends for the specialty units. The way we've got the step plan set up, those stipends are figured in their salary. So that's already saving money there. I mean, we're trying all we can to work. But
Oh, I understand, and we're not saying you're not doing the right thing and trying to get us moving forward here. We appreciate the amount of work you put into this to give us a proposal, but what the proposal you've got, I don't think can go beyond this year. If you want to, again, I think you have two options. One is to just do the 2%. Let's start negotiations over the next contract soon, or give us a new proposal which implements some kind of step plan during this current fiscal year, and then we can take a look at that and respond.
Here, we're gonna, type up that proposal. It shouldn't take but just a minute, if you will indulge us.
We will. I just have to let you know, though, that I don't know how prepared we are to respond to your step plan proposal implemented in this fiscal year, because that's not, that didn't appear to be what you were looking for in the proposal you sent. So, but I appreciate your doing that, and we can take that in and respond, but I don't know that we can respond today.
Okay, well, give us a second and,
Okay.
we'll get that emailed over. I guess, is Michelle there? I think I see her.
Yes.
I guess she got her laptop with her. We can send it to her. And,
Give them a hard copy if they want. He's got to walk right there.
oh, they're just next door, aren't they? Okay, we'll give them a hard copy. I gotta figure out how to get one to Eric.
You can just email it to me.
You just send it to
Okay.
Sue, print it out for us.
What do you say? Miss Sue, print it out for them. Email it
Gotcha.
to Sue.
Hello. We're unmuted. Are they back? They're still muted.
Hey there.
Hey.
Well, we looked at it, and I presume, we're presuming what your proposal is, if it was crafted into language, would be simply taking out the October 1, 2020 2%, but moving up the step plan to October 1, 2020 instead of October 1, 2021, right?
Correct.
No,
Okay.
it's for September 30th of 2021.
September 30th.
Okay, but anyway, but I mean, the cost impact would be very similar, but let's, and we thought we saw on the spreadsheet some things that might be errors, but here's where we're at. We at this point are prepared to go ahead and agree to the 2% across the board for this fiscal year and start as soon as you want on the next contract. Or we may take a look at our prior proposal that was a step plan that we proposed last time and look at that and make a counter proposal, but we can't do that sitting here today because we've got to take into account a lot of different factors for increasing or changing that step plan that we already proposed. If you don't want to take the 2% for this year and move on to next year, then we've got to pick another date for this year's negotiations where we can come up with a counter proposal.
What is lacking in our proposal?
Well, it costs too much for one thing. You've got a number of different increases every 2 years. It's what, 5%? It's expensive. And it, just at a quick glance, we haven't costed it out, but what we need to do is go back and revise ours to more meet your proposal and see whether, but we got to stay within budget.
Well, give us a number to shoot for.
You got a dollar amount that we should try to model this after?
Well, we're sort of looking at, now there are a couple different considerations, but we know that the 2% is $23,000 for this fiscal year. So there's a number there. Now, when you put in a step plan, you've got hidden costs for the future, whereas you don't have that necessarily with a 2%, because a step plan, people increase even if you don't have a contract, it becomes part of the status quo. So there are different considerations on that, but you can see what the dollar figure is in terms of what we're prepared to agree to right now. I mean, we'll agree to the 2% today. And I thought that's where we were going when we started the meeting, but if you don't want to take that, then we've got to go back to the well and see what we need to do to modify our counteroffer to make it more attractive to you guys.
And your offer will be similar to the one we presented? Where
I don't know what it will be at this point, but I think we'll probably operate off our prior proposal.
With that part, don't do nothing for the longevity.
Yeah, that does nothing to keep officers here.
Well, that's one of the things we need to look at to see whether or not needs to be a different element in there that would attract people to stay longer.
The money the agency
or to reward people who have been here longer.
The money the agency spending to train new officers would pay for our proposal. I mean, when we've hired 15 new officers in 3 years, and it's the average of $18,000 for each officer, that would pay for what we proposed if we could retain the officers we train.
Well, we'll look. Our proposal will look to try to attract and retain officers, including those that have more tenure that our current proposal doesn't really deal with.
I mean, as long as we're negotiating, I'm willing to keep negotiating. But
well, we are too. I mean, we're giving you a couple options. Take the 2% now and start bargaining over next year's contract, or we take a pause to where we can put together a counter proposal and offer it at the next meeting. I mean, we're definitely here to negotiate and get it, and we're set on getting a step plan if that's what you want, either this year or next year.
Let me, hang on one second. Okay, Eric, the committee's talked to the members obviously about this stuff, and, you know, they've been given guidance, and they really want to try to work out this step plan deal.
Okay,
So, if y'all want to try to rework yours and take into consideration the step, intervals instead of the 3, 5, 7,
yeah,
that
well,
just takes too long for anybody to even get anything out of it.
we'll take a look at it. I guess one good fact is we both are looking at steps being 2 years apart. You just have a whole lot more steps, but let me, let's set a date to meet again, to discuss the, you know, so we can put together a counter proposal and run it by you. And also, you know, we might have some questions about your proposal too, but we can wait on that. But what do you guys look like into next week? Is there anything?
Um,
I can't, the 2nd or the 5th,
cannot.
I can't, the 3rd.
or the 3rd.
Third's election day. That's going to be a terrible day to try to meet.
Yeah, I wouldn't meet on the 3rd. Yeah, maybe after that.
Maybe Wednesday the 4th. What does everybody feel?
I'm good the 4th.
Right now, we're good Wednesday the 4th.
I still need 7 days to advertise.
I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's put it out today.
Yeah, she'll have.
Is the 5th okay with everybody?
What time of the day?
Well, the 2 o'clock works for me, but you guys,
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
I mean, Greg, that's not good. What about
No.
the 6th?
I'll do it.
4th? 5th?
5th.
4th.
On Saturday.
Don't have it.
7 days advertised.
I'll have
So the 5th or 2
we're looking at the 2 o'clock on the 5th?
Yes.
the clerk's office.
Okay.
We're gonna.
I've got calendar 2 to 4.
All right, but no, that'll work, if the 5th is fine, we can.
Eric, could, like we've been doing for y'all, can y'all send us your proposal prior to the meeting also to get a chance to digest it and be better prepared when we do meet?
I think that's a great idea, and if we can, we will. I mean, I definitely like that idea, because I think it makes these meetings a lot more efficient.
It does.
Same time.
So I've got it calendared for the 5th. Everybody else, on our team, is everybody else on our team good with that?
Yes.
Okay. And so why don't we adjourn till the 5th, and we'll have a proposal ready to give to you before the 5th.
Fantastic.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Michelle, I'm going to give you a call right away here, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye now.